This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, flyers. That is 2-3 page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW. Written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 111, entitled The High from Learning Lifestyle. Description. This flyer describes a lifestyle for MGTOW/masculists who are sages and love learning, getting highs from learning beautiful, powerful new stuff, and want to increase the frequency of these oh wow moments. Flyer itself. The high from learning lifestyle. There are millions of MGTOW/masculists around the world now who are experimenting with new lifestyles for men, given that they have walked away from the traditional man-slave role of paying for a fluffy wife. I've written a few flyers already on alternative lifestyles for men. This one is aimed more at the sage minority, that is, at the sages, that is, the intellectuals, that is, those men who love learning, who love playing with ideas, who love getting the high from finally understanding a difficult concept or argument, in brackets, theorem. I'm noticing how my current lifestyle that I have since retiring is greatly superior to what I had as a waging prof, that is, earning a wage. A few years back, I read something that really shocked me. It was a survey on how many readers on average there are for each published research paper. Remember, I was a professor. The answer was 1. That figure depressed me. It means that the vast majority of research papers are totally wasted effort. Most of research is thus wasted, going unread in most cases. I churned out 150 such research papers that I presume were mostly unread. Actually, now on the internet there's something called ResearchGate. And my best read paper, in fact it was a book chapter, has now had over a year and a half, something like that, over 700 reads. So what I wrote a year or two back is not entirely true, I think. Anyway, I only churned them out at a rate of a handful per year because that was what the university or research lab I was working in expected and demanded: publish or perish. Now that I'm retired, and in brackets, a decade earlier than I had previously planned, my attitude to learning and researching has changed. I now learn a ton simply because I love it, in capitals. I go to the neighbouring park afternoons with my camp chair and a handful of books, mostly on pure math and math physics, and study them for two main reasons. One is, I just love this stuff. I love learning about how the world works from physics and the sheer beauty and power of pure math. And the other is to acquire the knowledge to make YouTube lecture course videos in what I study. The best way to learn something is to have to teach it. That's not what I wrote. Anyway, with physics, I will often have religious experiences as I learn increasingly how mathematical the laws of physics are. My growing suspicion, based on my physics and math knowledge, is that the laws of physics have been designed by a hyper-intelligence. Since I'm the father of the intellect, I'm very conscious of the concept of hyper-intelligence, that is, of creatures with intelligence levels trillions of times above the human level. For example, way back when I learned that the elementary particles could be classified by using an obscure branch of master's level pure math called representation theory of SU3 Lie algebras, the obvious question occurred to me: why do the particles obey such mathematical laws? More recently, I learned that the largest of the finite simple groups, the monster group, with 10 to the power 54 elements, what's that? That's a million, trillion elements. Yeah. Plays an intimate role in a 26-dimensional string theory. Last year I learned that a kind of error checking code, a la computer science, is built into the laws of string theory. Jesus Christ, do you see what I mean? Now with math, the high I get is even stronger after having struggled with a beautiful and difficult theorem. I was a PhD full prof in computer science, pure math and math physics, so I'm no dummy, but I'm no genius either. As a prof, I'm studying the works of male mathematicians who are real genii, who give me what I call brain strain. These guys have IQs that make them 1 in a billion with a B, so it's a real effort to finally master what they're proving. But once that happens and the penny drops, the high is fantastic. I love the "oh wow" feeling I get, and I want to have that feeling often, daily if possible. Part of the reason for the high is that you know that the mathematical knowledge you learn is forever. That's the nature of math. Once someone proves something, that proof never goes away. When Euclid proved that there are an infinite number of primes, his proof is eternal. Learning a new eternal truth in math gives a mathematically minded person a real high. So, I want to live a lifestyle that allows me to have such experiences often, which brings me to a new lifestyle that I call the high from learning lifestyle. You need to be a sage type person though. Such a lifestyle would not work with the type of people who play cards all day on the ground floor of my apartment building. You need to be smart enough to be able to absorb and understand the works of male genii. But given that, how to arrange a lifestyle that allows you to concentrate on learning what you want to learn and not be a wage slave to some university churning out unread research paper crap just to stay employed. By being an ARCer, A-R-C, after retirement careerer. You get a good education, studying fit, financially independent person majors in high school and college so that you graduate with a real skill that the economy values and pays good salaries for. Don't marry, don't have kids, work hard, save and invest hard, live frugally and pile up your money so that you can retire early in your 30s or 40s. Move to a poor foreign country where the cost of living is much lower so that your savings increase their purchasing power by a factor of 10. Then retire. Now you're an ARCer. You're free to do what you love. If you're a sage type and you love learning, then you can sage all day, having highs as you learn one jewel of knowledge after another. This is what I do now and have been doing it for 6 years. I then try to convey that high experience to my students on my YouTube lecture course videos, who follow me on my YouTube lecture course videos that I make. My plan over the next 20 years, if I can live that long, my father is 97 in 2016 and I'm nearly 70 and think I have inherited his longevity genes, is to make YouTube lecture videos in their hundreds on PhD level pure math and math physics topics for PhD level students all over the world for free, and electronic libraries with links to full content books thanks to Google. I am hoping to revolutionize high-level education by doing this. I also make e-libraries of books on these topics. I think I wrote that before Google really started coming out with millions of links to full content, full text books. When a prof truly loves the topic he's teaching, it shows. Students sense the enthusiasm and get caught up in it as well. It also gives me a sense of power. That's not new to me. There were times as a waging prof when I felt frightened by the power I had over students' lives. My grading of them determined the quality of their lives. Some I failed, who then got booted out of the university, crushing their hopes and dreams. But knowing that, I'm filming ideas that I love, and that potentially 1 million PhD level students one day might be studying them after I'm long dead. YouTube videos are forever, hopefully, is an intoxicating feeling. Ad-libbing now. YouTube is now starting to censor videos, so the pioneering thinkers are starting to migrate away from YouTube, and that's the kiss of death for YouTube. It will slowly die because they will lose viewers and hence advertisers and hence money, and they'll die. So YouTube is probably not forever. They're going to have to change their tune and stop censoring. YouTube is often called JewTube because it's owned by Google, and Google is Jewish, and Google is a member of the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, and therefore part of the shadow government, the real government, the government behind the scenes in the US. So, to some of you reading this who are also sages, this high from learning lifestyle might appeal to you. To adopt it, and if you are young, you'll need to ARC, or at least SERC, S-E-R-C, that is semi-retired careering, that is working part-time and spending the rest of your life doing what you love, living very modestly as a MGTOW, not spending money on a female nor a kid, but just to cover your meagre expenses. You could describe yourself as a kind of intellectual monk. But that's not to say that you have to forego sex. You can have a relationship with a fit woman who has her own apartment and get regular sex from her that way, if you can find one. There are millions of profs in the world who might like to take up the high from learning lifestyle. As they become MGTOW/masculists, they will not lose their sage genes. They will still be hungry to learn. Increasing the frequency of their "oh wow" moments makes this lifestyle very attractive. I love it. I hope some of you will too. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name de Garis, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers.